Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a 2011 fantasy film directed by David Yates and distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. It is the second of two cinematic parts based on J.K. Rowling's 2007 novel of the same name and the eighth and final installment in the Harry Potter film series. It was written by Steve Kloves and produced by David Heyman and David Barron and Rowling. The story continues to follow Harry Potter's quest to find and destroy Lord Voldemort's Horcruxes in order to stop him once and for all. The film stars Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter alongside Rupert Grint and Emma Watson as Harry's best friends, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. Principal photography began on the 19th of February 2009 and was completed on the 12th of June 2010, with reshoots taking place in December of 2010. Part 2 was released in 2D and 3D in IMAX cinemas worldwide from the 13th to the 15th of July 2011, and the only Harry Potter film to be released in 3D. The film was commercially successful and was one of the best reviewed films of 2011, earning praise from acting, Yates' direction, musical score, visual effects, cinematography, action sequences, and a satisfying conclusion to the saga. At the box office, Part 2's claimed worldwide opening weekend record, earning $483 million, as well as setting an opening day and opening weekend records in various countries. Part 2 grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide and became the third highest grossing film at the time, as well as the highest grossing film of 2011. As of 2021, it is the 14th highest grossing film of all time, and the highest grossing film in the Harry Potter series, as well as in the Wizarding World franchise, and the ninth film to gross over $1 billion. It is also the highest grossing film ever released by Warner Bros. The film won several awards and was nominated for many, many more, including 3 nominations at the Academy Awards for Best Art Direction, Best Makeup, and Best Visual Effects. The Blu-ray and DVD sets were released on the 11th of November 2011 in the United States and the 2nd of December 2011 in the United Kingdom. The film also released the Harry Potter series, complete 8-film collection on box set on DVD and Blu-ray, which included all 8 films and a new special features. Part 1 and Part 2 released as a combo pack on DVD and Blu-ray on the 11th of November 2011 in Canada. Now all the main cast returned for this film, as of course it was the finale to this huge series. The roles of several minor characters were recast or replaced for this film. For example, Sirian Hines assumed the role of Aberforth Dumbledore, Albus Dumbledore's brother and bartender at the Hogshead Inn. In the book, a significant number of characters who have not appeared since some of the earlier movies reappear to defend Hogwarts in the large final battle. Director David Yates said, "I want to get them all back," referring to his desire to bring back as many actors who have appeared in the franchise as possible for the climactic battle sequence in the film. Sean Biggerstaff, Jim Broadbent, Gemma Jones, Miriam Margolyes and Emma Thompson reprised their roles from earlier films briefly during the battle scene. For the final scene in the film, which is set 19 years after the film's main story, the actors playing the main characters were made to look older through use of makeup and special effects. After the initial look of the actors' aged appearances leaked onto the internet, some fans reacted by opinioning that Radcliffe and Grint looked too old, while Watson did not appear significantly different at all. After primary filming concluded in June 2010, Yates examined the footage and concluded that the problem could not be resolved through editing or CGI, and had the sequence reshot in that December with the redesigned makeup. Now let's discuss the differences between the book and the film. The real story behind Ariana Dumbledore becomes a mystery in the book until Aberforth and Albus Dumbledore eventually shed light on it. In the films, Aberforth and Albus never end up sharing the gut-wrenching true story of Ariana's suffering and tragic death. Harry even tells Aberforth in the film that he doesn't care what happened, as all he can focus on is finding a way into Hogwarts so he can find and destroy the last of the Horcruxes. In the book and in Deathly Hallows Part 2, Harry uses a pensieve to look through Severus Snape's memories. Some of the memories included in the book are not seen in the movie, however. Movie watchers don't get to see Snape and Lily Evans meeting James Potter and Sirius Black for the first time on Hogwarts Express, where they argue about which Hogwarts house is the best. Another important memory not shown in the film is Snape apologizing to Lily for calling her a mudblood, while Lily tells him that she's tired of making excuses for him. Several other memories also don't appear in the film, including the revelation that Petunia wrote to Dumbledore in the hopes that she could attend Hogwarts. Now, Molly Weasley's iconic line, "Not my daughter, you bitch," is in both the book and the films as she duels Bellatrix Lestrange, but there is a difference in how Molly ultimately kills Bellatrix. In the book, Molly kills Bellatrix by hitting her with a lethal spell. In the Deathly Hallows Part 2, Molly kills Bellatrix by rendering her immobile, then causing her to explode. The end result is the same, however, as Molly defeats the formidable Bellatrix, but the way she gets there is a bit different. Harry and Voldemort's final duel plays out very differently in Deathly Hallows Part 2 than it does in the book. The book sees Harry and Voldemort circling each other as survivors of the Battle of Hogwarts watch. Harry shares the truth about the power of love, Snape sacrifices in the Elder Wand before using a disarming charm to defeat Voldemort once and for all. Instead of a tense and gradual build-up that leads to Harry defeating Voldemort in a single moment, the movie has them firing an array of spells back and forth and chasing each other through Hogwarts. It is much flashier and action-packed take on their final confrontation. Shortly after the Battle of Hogwarts concludes in the book, Harry uses the Elder Wand to repair his broken Phoenix Feather wand. With his beloved wand restored, Harry vows to hold on to the Elder Wand, and when he dies, the Elder Wand power will die with him, and the bloodshed surrounding the legendary weapon will end. In the film, however, Harry does not use the Elder Wand to repair his Phoenix Feather wand. In fact, he snaps the Elder Wand in half and hurls the broken pieces into the distance. Now, as a movie, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is thrilling, powerfully acted, and visually dazzling. Deathly Hallows Part 2 brings the Harry Potter franchise to a satisfying and suitably magical conclusion. This is monumental cinema, awash with gorgeous tones and carrying on an ultimate message that will resonate with every viewer, young or old, that there is darkness in all of us, but we can all overcome it. I feel director David Yates does not let anybody down in this film. Albeit it's not a film that you can watch on its own, you'd have to watch the whole series to get to this conclusion. But if you're a fan, and you've followed it since the 2001 Philosopher's Stone, this is a more than fitting conclusion to this epic saga. And Yates does justice to the story, and to all these wonderful books. In some ways, he even helps make up for the shortcomings of the final book, and helps explain things to a general audience better. The finale is fantastic, a terrifying showdown that easily could equal anything with The Lord of the Rings or Star Wars in terms of dramatic and memorable battles between good and evil. It's an awe-inspiring moment, finally seeing Harry Potter face off against Lord Voldemort, something that you've been waiting since 2001 to see. And I just love the contrast of the series, how each film got darker and heavier and more adult in tone, especially when you compare it to the light-hearted innocence of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, all those magical years before. For me, the film fulfills on its long-promised answers, and it also dares to pose some new eternal questions that will stay along with you after the film has concluded. All in all, Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a fitting end to a fantastic film series that will go down as one of the best sagas in film history. Each film is unique and yet tells a fantastic story throughout, as it takes you on this wonderful, magical, escapist ride of a lifetime. The acting is superb from all of the cast, and it's wonderful to see how they grow into their roles and how they become so synonymous with these iconic characters. Each director added their own flair, yet they always paid homage beautifully to the source text. And for me to take one of the most complicated and diverse stories ever written, to make it into an 8-part film series and do it justice, well, it must have been quite daunting, and yet all the filmmakers really did this so well. The Harry Potter film series is always worth watching, and I have thoroughly enjoyed reviewing all 8 of these wonderful films once again and reliving them, if you will. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 gets an 8.5 out of 10.